Hello, everyone. Welcome to another awesome day of FileMaker training. I am Richard Carlton. As it attempts to boot up the camera here. There we go. All right. Welcome, everyone, to another awesome day of FileMaker training. Let's see. So today is another awesome Friday. We have a guest star with us who's truly talented. If all this live streams are free, but we do have to keep the lights on. So if you have a purchase one of the subscriptions, we greatly appreciate it. It really matters to us because Margaret and frankly Kyle and everyone, we have to pay the bills to keep the lights on. So with that in mind, let's pivot today. There's Kyle. It's Kyle Williams. Hey, Kyle, how are you?
Oh, I'm good. Yep.
Good. So Kyle is a very talented FileMaker developer. As an important notification out there for everyone, if you need an in-house FileMaker developer, Kyle is pivoting between jobs and projects. So if you have an in-house or you need an in-house developer helping you with the FileMaker, Claris FileMaker platform, you should reach out to Kyle because he might be a good fit for you, right? I always tell people it's not always guaranteed. Like when I go someplace, I'll be a good fit because I'm fairly opinionated, right? But generally, the people that get older have more experience, and that does matter. So Kyle is there. Kyle, how do they reach out to you just on the front end of this if they want to find you and reach out to you?
There's a few different ways to get a hold of me. One is through the email link on the bottom of the demo file in the footer. Another way, if you're part of the FileMaker Select user group, and there you can find me. So also in Discord. Reach out to me. I'm in Discord every day. So
we kind of know who you are. Very talented developer. It's got a lot of JavaScript capabilities. He's been on the show a bunch. So the question is, Kyle, I always ask this to people. Margaret doesn't know. Margaret's such a nice person. She doesn't ask this. Why are you here, and why should we give it?
So today's a really exciting day because we're going to discuss a new technique for leveraging web viewers in FileMaker. And that's allowed us to be able to inject JavaScript into any web viewer anywhere, to be able to inject a footer with buttons on it, to inject a header, to inject navigation controls, to inject, say you want to get all the data out of a web viewer and you don't want to write all the code. I have a script in this demo file that will extract all the data from any web viewer with a click of a button without having to write any code.
Okay, hang on. What I'm going to do is I'm going to help everyone else out here just a little bit. So you're saying that it's JavaScript injection anywhere. Let me just show everyone one little thing. And Margaret, be prepared on the sample file in this for me, would you? Okay, because you know what I'm about to do, right? So, so I first got introduced to Kyle, who's doing some things, and then he built this demo file. That we've incorporated. I think it should be a mandatory piece of tech. So let me make myself a little bit smaller and less obnoxious. So this is a JavaScript thing that Kyle did. Phenomenal. And so as you're interacting, now this is a screen's kind of busy here. This is an administrative debugging screen. But if the customer comes over to a project, here's the Merced County Sheriff's Department. And so we're going to insert a discrepancy over here. The idea is that in FileMaker, there's no way of providing a transient or temporary notification to the user that shit is happening or shit is underway or it occurred, okay? There's no way to do. All you can do is maybe change an icon on the screen they might notice, or you have to throw a dialog which makes you click it. There's no what we call transient notifications. So this is me. I'm not taking time from Kyle. It might seem like it, but Kyle's a badass, just to be clear about this, everyone. So if I say add discrepancy right here, it's going to do something, and it should pop up here and do something. So if I say insert a discrepancy, see that? It gave me a warning right here that I didn't do something I should have done. So if I say insert discrepancy, it says warning. And then if I hold the Option key down and I do it, see, it's giving us, so what it is, the actions are happening and they're a little bit delayed or a little slow. And so it throws a message up here. We can change the color, green, red, whatever. This is a sample file Kyle's already built that gives us a huge feature that we need in the product, right? And so once again, it took a second there for it to load initially, I think is what that was, right?
I'm also resequencing, so it had to remember where all the scripts were located.
Oh, yeah. So we're also cleaning up the file and stuff. But yeah, so if I say I want to delete something and I click on this, I say, well, you need to hold the modifier key down. The reason for this is Margaret's cat the fluffy little that's sitting over here, that's acting all sleep and cuddly and stuff, that little thing right there, it will prance across the keyboard and start deleting things, which is real bad. And so what happens is that we make the cat have to use one paw to hold the option or shift key down or control key, then click delete at the same time. So two things, right? It's like in the movies when they're going to shoot the nuclear missiles, they're going to turn their key at the same time. So we're going to turn two keys at the same time, 1, 2, 3. And it says, then we actually throw a dialogue that makes them, are you sure? Once again, if you throw a dialogue, no one will ever read it. And you say delete, right? And it goes ahead and deletes it. And then you get this little transient notification that will self-dismiss itself. You don't have to do anything. And that time you can set that. So Kyle, is what you're doing today anyway kind of like this? It seems like.
I actually have an update to that functionality. So we have a new transient notification in this demo file, 2 versions of it. One is the HTML, just like you have there, and the other is injecting that notification into any web viewer anywhere. So
okay, well, you're an ass because now I have to go back to BVA and update it because now I have to update it again. But no. I always like new software and good stuff. So Kyle, I'm going to give you a command. You're going to share your screen. This is Kyle's inject JavaScript. Okay. Well, since we're on transients right now, could you have it? Is it on here at all? Is the transient thing on here?
So there's a couple different ones. There's this is an update to the one that you have. So this comes in. Got a couple different.
Don't touch it.
Margaret,
we have to have that.
No, I saw that. I saw that last week, and I was like, "Oh no!"
I have to have that.
The other one is in the inject. So I got 3 different tabs up here. One is just HTML templates, and that replaces whatever's in this giant web viewer. Inject will use perform JavaScript and web viewer script step, and it'll inject a brand new function with brand new functionality into the web viewer. So to do that same thing here, let's see. We got
hang on, sorry. Let me move Kyle. There we go. You're good. I'm just moving you. You're right in the middle of the screen, but I was so enamored by this. Okay, show me some cool shit. I want to see more notifications.
I think this is a slide notification. So
there's that one.
This comes into any web viewer, so it can be populated with a bunch of stuff. And you can see I did a bunch of different stages. So I have a bunch of stuff here, HTML templates. This is something that you can use in any file right here. This is one of the most useful things because this you can use SQL, you can use data API, anything that can create a JSON array, and you can load this table. So I'm going to show a couple different ways to do this real quick. So just a quick demonstration. I put this together last night. So this it's a little sample script because I didn't want to take too much time. And this is how you build a DAPI call. So it's data API, and I'm looking at a table called test data, and I want to be able to pull the data from that table. So it's looking at a layout. Layout's called test data, and that goes to a table called test data. So if I come down here and see, here's my test data. So we go back to our home screen here, and we go back into this. So this is going to get all that data from there when it goes into this execute FileMaker data API script step. So it's got that DAPI JSON. It's going to load it in here. It's going to return it in a variable called JSON. So as I step through this debugger, so save that. And so now we got the JSON, and if I look in here, I can see there's my response. So it's kind of hard to read. Let me find my mouse. Okay.
But I assume you can parse that out into something much more.
Yeah, I just not everybody has used DAPI, so I just want to show them what it looks
absolutely.
Like real quick. So if I do JSON format elements, so there's 3 good ways to get data out of FileMaker. Data API is one of them. SQL, there's a custom function out there that's in this file that'll get JSON from an execute SQL call. It'll convert it to JSON as an array, and this script can handle that as well. So I'm just going to evaluate that. So the data API, the third way is OData. So I don't know if most people probably aren't familiar with OData.
We did have a series on it about 6 months ago, 7 months ago.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I think our regulars should be relatively familiar with the very basics.
Yep. OData is fun. It only requires one API call versus 3. So
Convenient, yes.
yeah, it's great for external applications and integrating. So this is a FileMaker internal execute data API script step response. So kind of go back to the script here. This is that line right here, line 5, execute FileMaker data API. This is a response. So it's got this messages section with some information that was successful, and then it's got a response section. The response has this data array, and this is all of our records that are in that table. So it's just returning everything. So now how do I get that into that table widget? So this next step is going to be the configuration settings. So this is also important because this will allow you to tell it what the different columns are. So I have 3 fields here that I'm mapping out. One is the first name field. And so I can show what I want my header to be. And if it's a type of text, is it sortable? Do I want that column to be sortable? So I got my 3 different fields there. If I want to hide some columns, I can hide them here. If I want to do a multi-select or a single select, I have that option here. I can just swap this multi out with single, and then it'll be a single select widget. Show edit button. This will allow you to edit what's in that row. So that's kind of a cool little feature. So we're just going to go with false for now. And then I'm just going to use this step right here, and this is going to combine the 2. So now when I look at my JSON, I have my header settings, my hidden columns, my mode, and then I have the response data. So it converted that previous JSON into some new JSON that the HTML widget can use. And then it's going to use the perform script HTML table, which is the same thing that this button does. So it's going to pass that JSON in, and it's going to check to see if I'm passing invalid JSON. Otherwise, it'll use the default. So then, since I'm using that, let's move this out of the way so we can see. And now it's going to set it in the web viewer. So this has all the data from that table using execute data API. So that just shows you how easy it is to get data into this table. And now I have a multi-select functionality. I can select all of them, or I can just select a few of them. I can search. So all of that functionality works. I've got pagination right here. So I can go back and forth. I can see how many are found, how many are showing. So where I'm at there. So it has all of that built in. I can say show selected records. I don't have any selected. So let's just select a couple. And then now I can see exactly the result. I can see what's selected. And it has a script step. So oftentimes we want to consolidate and be able to do everything in one script, especially when it's just going to be a small script. When you have a script that's thousands of lines long, you're going to want subscripts. But in this case, this is going to be just a simple widget that you can easily copy and paste into any file, point it at any layout, and it'll get the data from that layout. And then you just map out your field settings for your headers. So pretty simple, pretty easy to implement. So I think in order to present a single, let's see, where's my multi-setting? Name. Oh, apparently I don't have, oh, there it is, single. Okay, so this has a single select already in it. So this, it has a single select, so I can select one row at a time. I don't select multiple, and it has an edit row button, and this will dynamically show all the fields that are in your table and allow you to change them. And then you click save at the end. So pretty cool, pretty powerful widget. A lot of times I'm asked to create a multi-selection widget, and then I just have this HTML all ready to go. And I just point it at whatever table I want, pull the data in. Super easy to set up and implement. So this presentation is about injecting JavaScript. So I'm going to just kind of leave this on the screen for now, and we're going to have some fun injecting stuff. So say I want I showed this last time, but it's really fun, so I'm going to show it again. Inject WebViewer PDF generator. I also put the button up here, calls the same script. So script debugger, and just kind of show you what it's doing here. So this is the PDF generator. We're gonna just kind of dive into this. The script step is empty. Okay, so then we have this JavaScript function. So if I put that in here, go to my data viewer so you can see what that looks like. So this function, it's called an IIFE, which is, it instantly evaluates the moment you load it in the web viewer. It's self-contained. So this function holds all the other functions within it. So this is the key to an IIFE. It's one function from start to end. It's only one function, but you can put a whole bunch into it. So here I have a function inside of the function. And there's going to be other functions in here too. See, we're using a library, HTML to PDF. It's going to base64 it, and it's going to package it up in JSON. And then it's going to send that data to FileMaker to this handle PDF export. And then it's going to generate it. And then there's the end of it. So this is one giant function in here. And we're going to inject that into this web viewer that does not have any PDF generation code into it. So did I already do it? I think I might have gone too fast. Yeah, it's already got it. There. I went faster than I wanted to. So yeah, it's already converted it into a PDF. It has it as base64 right here. So for those not familiar with base64, it's a whole lot of text. It's, you can see this is like a lot.
Yes,
so
many characters.
Yeah, cancel out of that. I'm gonna close that for a moment. And so basically what it's doing is it's taking that base64 code, it's gonna base64 decode it, give it a little sample name, and then we're gonna put it on the desktop as test.pdf. And then here we're gonna export it and it's gonna show it. So just like that, you can see in real time, I was able to take this row that's selected, 35, you can see, it shows me exactly what was in the web viewer as a PDF.
Which is awesome.
Yeah, so you can use this on any web viewer, anywhere, in any file, which is just phenomenal.
So do you have to like personalize it towards the web viewer, or like what if I wanted to like just slap that on top of like a web viewer in my file?
You just you copy and paste that script that generates a PDF. You just take where is it? Inject. So there's a few different folders here. So I got the HTML, the inject. So it's this script right here. You take this script and any custom functions that it's using, you put those custom functions in your other file. You're going to want a globals table with, and this can be adjusted. You can change it to container or whatever in your globals table. And just refactor this to work for your system. So that way you have a temporary container you can load it into, and then it's going to export it from that container to wherever you want. So you can customize all of this.
That is cool. That's awesome. That's really awesome. Okay, cool.
Yep. Say I want to get the data out of this web viewer. So I'm just going to type a bunch of stuff and we want to get this data. There's no function in there to get all of this data. So this is a universal function. It can get any data out of the web viewer. If you have forms in your HTML, it'll put that right here where it says formless. Because I didn't have a form, it just does formless by default. So anything outside of any forms, it'll put it there. If it's in a form, it's going to say edit form or whatever that form's name is inside the HTML. So you put your form tag, you give it an ID, and that ID will be the key for your JSON object that contains the data. So that's how that works.
Oh, so cool.
Where to start next? Okay, so
pick your favorites at this point. Just go to most of your favorites.
So signature pad. I don't know if I showed this last time, but it allows you to kind of draw a name, click save, and there's your signature.
That's nice. And I
So
guess
there's
you
been a
could
number of
automatically
times.
save that. Oh, that'd be so cool. You could have like, oh, this is the staff. Just it is more awesome shit. Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
But
he has a thing where you can pop up and save a signature automatically. So like in BVA, we could just pop up, and they could
Yeah, but
just.
does it work in Windows?
Good question. Does this work in Windows?
it should.
Let me.
It
I still
should.
need to do more Windows testing, but somebody was doing
It
Windows
should.
testing last
Okay.
time, and a lot of the stuff was working for them.
Yeah.
So that was
Okay.
good news. So again, I'm on a Mac. All this was programmed on a Mac. So I haven't tested everything. There's so much here to test. So I
Yes.
haven't gone through all of this on Windows, but if you're on a Mac, it definitely all works. I'd love to hear some feedback.
If Windows
So
has any issues, yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Cool.
so this is also cool that I can add a new footer row down here just by injecting it. So again, if I don't have anything in here, I can inject the footer, I can inject the header, I can inject a sidebar navigation. So if I start, let's start with this again, and I'm just gonna inject a new footer. So it kind of has two footers, but uh, so we got that, and this footer, you click on it, it works. So it's sending a script parameter to FileMaker. I can inject a header. So this, I can have a gear menu, bunch of stuff in there. Of course, it's hidden behind this other object, so I'm just gonna start fresh again. Uh, okay, so header, and then say I want that sidebar nav to come in here, and I want to be able to open this up. So you can see everything moves dynamically. Like it, it takes whatever
That's
WebViewer,
really
puts it
nice.
inside the container. And so this works outside that container and kind of squishes everything as it opens up. And I can select, and there it is. So pretty freaking cool to be able to just dynamically add this stuff.
No
Um,
kidding.
alert message. So alert message should, did I break something? Let me try this. Oh, there it is.
It might be hiding like different layer. So
Yeah,
it's the back
it's because I had a
layer.
lot of layers up here. I had that header, and this is
Yeah.
showing up behind the header. So I had the header object on here. So if I inject the header, the alert message is behind the header.
Ah, got
That's
it.
what that was. Okay, it's a layering issue. But yeah, that's what the this alert looks like. It's fully customizable. Uh, you can change this to uh, and then try it again, and then it shrinks down automatically. You can try a whole bunch of text. So if I were to just throw a bunch of random stuff on there, it auto enlarges, resizes to fit. Toast notification. This one I added last time to new message, but yeah, you just change this to whatever you want it to be. So, oh yes, it's whatever I want, and it'll go away on its own too. So that one I like in a lot of cases. Um, to inject a modal window into any web viewer. So that is super helpful. So I have this table over here, and I want to inject a modal window. This is just to display information,
Mm-hmm.
but I want more than that. Maybe I want to get information. There's I'm going to get into this a little bit later, but I was playing around with ChatGPT in this, and I have a bunch of examples down here. Um, reset here. Maybe I need to, oh, there it is. Okay. Because I already had modal window in there and it was trying to use the same ID. But basically you can type whatever you want. Uh, so this was created for me. There's not really much style. But basically get data out of the web viewer. This, of course, it has all the information. See, see, maybe I'd do something with a little less data in it already.
Loading. Oh, this is cool.
Get web viewer data. There we go. That's more what we want to see. The data that was actually from it. So that's one thing when you're playing with injecting is you're getting so much code piling up in there. Sometimes you have to reset it, and that's why I put this reset button in here. because it gets to be too much. Everything compounds on each other and it's building a whole lot. Because each time you click on one of these, you're adding something new. So for example, right here, get HTML. This is all that's in the web viewer by default, and it's just basic template. There's nothing there. If I click it again, you can see the code viewer code shows up in here because I injected it. So it's got the original code in here, which is, this right here. And then it injected styles in here. It injected some scripts below my script tags that I had. So all of this is added into it. So let's get into some more fun stuff. So just I like to use that as a starting point. So tribute.js. I don't know if anybody's heard of Tribute, but what this is say you want to send a message to somebody, maybe you got a Twilio integration or a Slack integration. So I could say Kyle, we need to discuss with that Jane. So you can type and then you can click save and it'll give you all the HTML that's in that field, but it also give you the mentions. So I mentioned in there the name Kyle. I mentioned Jane. So both of those are in there. And when I click save, it gives me that information to FileMaker. So that way I can use that and I can send a message to both the people that I messaged. So if I got Twilio or something, I want to send them a text message and I want to include this HTML in my text or a Slack message or whatever, wherever I want to send this information, I can send it to these people. I have their IDs, I have their phone numbers or emails or whatever in their staff profile.
That's cool.
Do that. Super cool. So that's kind of a demo, but it's a modal window that pops into the web viewer. Pretty cool stuff. Another library I was playing around with was 3.js. There's a few demos of this in here, and this is good for 3D artists. You can click and drag it. You can zoom in and out.
That's awesome.
So to just be able to inject that into any web viewer is pretty cool. I'm gonna reset here. JSON viewer. So this is something I was starting to play around with because I wanted to be able to see the response in the web viewer without messing up the web viewer, changing any code or adding any code. I just wanted to be able to see the response going into FileMaker easy. So I created this so that way I can just send the JSON. Is that the right one? Yeah, so there's some JSON that I'm sending into the web viewer. So that's that JSON. So I can change it here to show whatever. It'll put it into the modal. It'll even colorize it. So I like colorizing JSON because you can read it, you can understand it easier. So that was that one. Gonna reset to not build up too much code here. Code viewer, this is really cool. I got a light and a dark mode. Render will allow me to see what's in this code. It'll render it directly here in the web viewer, and then I can go back to the code. I got search functionality, so if I want to do script, it's kind of interesting. Span. So I want to change all the spans to something else. I can do. Oh, I just replaced it with nothing. Yeah. But anyhow, it's kind of cool. You can come in here, you can change things.
Actually edit the code.
Render
That's
it, try it out,
wild.
see what it looks like. So that's
That's
something I was
fun.
playing around with. Progress bar. This one's cool. So to be able to inject a progress bar, like you're running a report or something, you want to see the current status of that report. Super cool. You can change the color of the bar as it's running, change the message. So are there any questions? I was just noticing a couple messages.
Talking about the signature working on Windows. Signature works on Windows, although the background in the PDF is dark snow.
There's a question or a comment about the iPad. The iPad, I believe, already has a signature capture functionality, doesn't it? Or is
It
that,
does.
yeah.
I
So
think
that's
it's probably
probably not
because
the
I
best
guess it's
solution.
probably because of how FileMaker Windows work, or rather iPad Windows
Yeah.
work, or FileMaker
Oh,
Go
okay.
Windows and
Thanks,
iPad.
Mark. Yeah, he was just testing, giving us
Yeah,
feedback. I appreciate
goes
the
to the
feedback.
black screen and save the files window. If it don't let you do anything after that, then go back to get. Oh, interesting.
But his
Okay.
signature works on Windows. Uh, the background in the PDF is dark and has no contrast. Oh, okay, yeah. So that's the signature pad. He's saying that the background here, when you click save, is really dark on Windows, so you
Mm.
can't really tell the line from the background. I believe this background is transparent, so all it's saving is this line. So that way you can overlay it on other, like a blank canvas. So it could
Mhm.
be white in the background, and you just see the line. So I believe that's kind of the idea. So uh, see, slide navigation. I think I did that one already. Yeah, that one's that the new notification comes in. I can change it and add. So this is an array of values for anybody that missed the last presentation. There's a number of updates, and this is an array. And then last time we added this almost section in here. Uh, so because we just wanted to demonstrate adding another layer in here. If I wanted to remove that, I could just simply delete and then run this again. Oh, but I got to reset the web viewer first because otherwise the code's still in there and it's calling the old original function. So there, I got rid of the almost, and now it's only 3. So pretty easy to modify that and change it. So let's just give this a background and delete button. Say I'm trying to delete a record. I can inject this modal window, nice big buttons. I can cancel the deletion, and then it's returning this back to FileMaker, so I can see the cancel was selected. So that's pretty handy. Back to FileMaker again. Result was delete, and then I can handle that. So just kind of having fun with some different widgets. Um, I'm gonna get into creating a new IIFE, which is that single function to inject with. I'll do that at the end. But I just wanted to show off some other really cool tools here. Um, so this is a way to people have demoed this many times. It's used in Base Elements plugin, and you can create an insert text script step, insert calculated result script step, or create a custom function. And so if I want to create a custom function, I can say new CF, my CF param, other param. I can optionally have it be a list function inside the custom function. So say I just want a bunch of text. Maybe I'm doing some HTML. So let's do inspect element and sources, and I just want to grab all of this and paste it in here. And I want this to be a list function. Uh, see, I've had some issues with that template doing this, so I'm going to grab a different one. So just realized that. Let's say, oh, let me inject this. Get HTML. Oh, and then I got a copy button. So there's a copy button right here to copy it. So yeah, let's leverage our tools here. So now insert calculator custom function. Okay. So I'm going to do HTML since this is HTML. Param1, param2. Created it as a list inside the custom function. Generate the custom function. It's now in the clipboard. So now I can go into manage custom functions and I can just paste that in here. Now I have this custom function already in here. It's a list formula of all that HTML code. So that
That
was so easy. And then I can run it and you can see it works. That's I'm pretty sure that's over 30,000 characters. Yep. So there's a problem that we have with all of these script steps in the custom function.
Mm-hmm.
is it cannot exceed 30,000 characters. So this
So
tool
this
gets
is how you
around
get
that.
around that? Okay.
Yep. So
That's really
this
cool.
widget is in this demo file. Uh, so I can take all of this, copy it again, and let's use one of the other tools. So insert calculated result, HTML, that's what I'm going to call it. Uh, if you don't use a $sign here, it'll create a local variable. If I want it to be a global variable,
Oh, okay.
add a couple $signs. If it has one or none, it'll be a local variable. So I was trying to make it easy so you didn't have to do the $sign. It would just create a local variable
Mm-hmm.
or local. Yeah. So now it's on the clipboard. I also have that little notification there. That was that toast notification. Um, and then I just paste that in wherever, and there it is.
That's
So
insane. That you can just use that to walk past the 30K.
yeah, yeah. Again,
That's
if I tried
nuts.
typing anything, I get that same error message, 30,000 character limit. So this
I don't
just
even
speeds
know
up
what
my
to
development
say,
process.
Kyle. In a
Uh,
good way. That's very cool.
yeah. Again, you can do this here. Script step, var, uh, generate. So just really quickly, it does insert text script steps as well. This also bypasses that character limit. Um, so pretty cool stuff. Um, JSON transformation tool. So this is, again, this is in the dev tool section. So this is all HTML stuff. It doesn't inject. So I got this JSON transformation tool. There is an injection version. So say I have this over and I want to work on converting JSON. Without leaving the web viewer, without trying to load it with something else, I can inject this code. And I could say I want to colorize this JSON. There's colorized it. If I want to make a FileMaker formula out of it, it does that. So I can
That's
colorize
nuts.
it.
That you can just make it to a formula without having to do
Yeah,
anything.
just
That's
by clicking it. So if I want to export that as a PDF, there's a button to do that. So this I can share. I can email it with somebody and say, hey, I got this JSON formula here. This is what it looks like. If I want to colorize it and export that, there it is. So pretty handy.
that's
Um,
extremely handy, is what that is.
if you have JavaScript JSON, so sometimes JavaScript will not have any quotes around some of the keys, and you need to, uh, you know, obviously it's not going to be able to use any of these functions because it's broken. I just broke it. So to fix that, I got this JS object into JSON converter, and this will fix that JSON. I can copy that output. It copied it to the clipboard, and then I'm just going to remove all of that, paste it in here. And now if I scroll down my FileMaker function, my colorize, all of that works again. So pretty cool tool. Um, so I have that over here in DevTools as well. This one actually has a few more options. So when I was creating this tool, I started with this. Eventually, I got it to a point where I just wanted to convert it into a modal window to help with the injection scripts and kind of expand my library. But this has convert JSON into a CSV. So it converts it into a CSV. If I want to convert, oh, well, that's XML to JSON, YAML. Uh, so that's a little different. I thought I had it both. Oh, I do have it both ways. There's convert JSON to CSV, convert it to XML. So now this JSON is an XML format. Uh, and YAML is it's a bit like so it's a markdown language. I don't know if everybody's familiar with markdown. Anybody that uses like Trello, they're gonna know what markdown is. And this is your list, and it's got the bullet points. So that's kind of what that is. I can sort the JSON keys with this, but FileMaker kind of does that already. Collapsible tree view. So that this has some additional functions that's not in that modal window that I created, and this allows you to narrow down. There's also a search functionality. So say I want to search for object, it'll find it. So I got a JSON search engine now. It'll help me find where in here it is. So if I type yes, there's my yes, and I know the path to it. So I think I did a list path in here too. Sort JSON keys. Oh, there's a difference. So say I got all of this, copy, and I want to diff it down here to figure out what changed. So let's take this out and then compute diff. I can see that I took that information out. So that could be really useful to be able to see the differences. And of course, validate. It's JSON valid. So some cool dev tools in here. Get data from WebViewer. So that I demonstrated up here. It doesn't seem to want to get data from this one. It's weird. So date selector, say I got some dates selected here and get data from WebViewer. Why isn't that working? Oh, it's got a script parameter here. Okay, so it's filtering out formless, I think. So if I disable that, so I got a few different tools in here. So say you got a bunch of checkboxes and you only want to see the true values. You can toggle that here to filter any unchecked checkboxes. So that'll filter out anything that's false. It'll only show the results that are true. That's useful when you have a lot of checkboxes and you only want the true values. So, and then you can assume all the rest are false. It simplifies that JSON. So there's that option. Show dialog. So when it results, you can show the dialog or not. Filter out formless. So it was filtering out the data because it was in formless. Uh, it didn't have a form name or form ID. So all of these are outside of a form. That's why I wasn't showing before. So figured that out. Scroll web viewer. This one is fun. Okay, so this, let me find something that I can scroll. So I had something in here, date selectors, staff search. So this one I got to scroll down. So I'm just going to scroll to somewhere in the middle. I'll put Sam White at the bottom. And I want to be able to get the scroll position. So scroll web viewer. I can see that my vertical scroll is at 488. So I'm going to copy that and let's scroll to the top here. So this is useful for if you have multiple HTML templates and you're going from one to the next, and then you have a back button that returns, and you want to return to the previous template, and you want to scroll to where they were, so that way it feels like you're navigating layouts, even though it's all the same layout, same web viewer. This is where this comes in handy. So I'm gonna change the Y coordinate, so that 488 that I pulled out of there, and this is gonna scroll the X to 200 and the Y to 488. So when I do this, it scrolled down. It doesn't have a left and right scroll, so it couldn't really do left and right, but it scrolled down to exactly where I positioned. So if I do, say, 1488, it's going to go all the way to the bottom. So there it goes right to the bottom. If I want to scroll to 0, I can change that to 0, and it'll scroll to the top. So super handy. In order to get information out of the web viewer, you just disable this X and the Y and hit it again, and it'll give you the HTML title. This is the title of the HTML document and the scroll position. So that'll allow you to capture the HTML template you're using, as well as the position the user is on. So when you reload that same template, you can scroll directly to where you were. Super useful when you have back and forth navigation. HTML title is kind of a simplified version of that, just to get that HTML title. And to kind of show you what it's doing, let's get the HTML out. So there's a title in here somewhere. See. Um, Title. So Why isn't it finding that? Source. Somewhere in here, there's a title tag. Title tag. There it is. It's like usually it's right at the top. I don't know why I'm not seeing it. So there's the title tag, and that's what it's pulling out. This text right here. So if you put that in your HTML template, you'll be able to know exactly what template you were on. So when you return to it, you can scroll. So get HTML, it's right there. Okay. Any questions so far?
I was busy trying to figure out links working.
Oh,
Uh,
okay.
so I got it to work though. People can get the file as they understandably want it a great deal.
Yeah. So this tool is for colorizing and formatting. I can toggle
Mm-hmm.
the line numbers. So it's kind of cool when you want to see the code. Uh, so then there's a HTML editor. So this you can type and it'll give you a preview window and it'll show you what you're producing. So there, I'm just going to paste that code in there. This also formats it. I'm not sure why all that is up there, but I can modify this in real time. So say I want to remove that and just say colorizer. So as you're typing, it'll preview it down here. It'll render it in a preview window, basically. So that could be kind of useful. Let's see, I got format, save HTML, return it to a script, hide the preview window. So that's just kind of something I was playing around with. I wanted to be able to modify HTML, edit it inside of FileMaker that I haven't used external tools. So I thought that would be pretty useful to be able to just edit it, see it in real time, what it's producing. Um, and then JavaScript HTML time zone conversions. This is really useful. This can convert multiple timestamps all at the same time. This uses what's called ISO timestamps. So this is not your normal timestamp. It's uh, anybody who's worked with APIs knows what this is, what knows all about these timestamps. So this is feeding into a JavaScript API. So it is accounting for time zones. It's accounting for daylight savings, all of that. And then I'm specifying what time zone I'm in using a time zone ID and what time zone I want to convert it to. So this could be America, Los Angeles, could be Denver. So there's a number of different time zones that I can go from, and then I can go to any of them. And then I just run this, and it'll use that JavaScript engine and produce the results. So right now I have the start, the lunch, the end. Say I don't want to do lunch. I can take this out of the middle and then run it again. And now I have my input, so it shows what I inputted and what I'm getting out of it. So that's super useful. Markdown render. So this
Mm-hmm.
is kind of where I was going at with the whole YAML thing. It kind of looks like Markdown language.
Mm-hmm.
So I can modify this. So each pound symbol is like an H tag. And so by adding and removing, I'm changing the number on an H tag, which is a header tag.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then if I want to create a list, I can add dashes. So again, anybody who's ever used Trello knows how to work with Markdown usually. So
It's just
pretty useful.
yes.
So now I think I've covered just about everything. So now we wanted to kind of go to how do you create your own injection function? How do
Yes.
you create your own modal window? So for that, to kind of get you started, I have this injection script. Where is it? It's a custom new modal. So for this, I put a little sample in here to kind of get started. So if you're using ChatGPT or Grok or anything, I can start with this message right here. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to pull over ChatGPT into the window. And so I can ask it anything. I'm going to just paste this in here. So this is all that text that's in that script, and I'm going to run it. And this is going to look for an IIFE, which is an immediately invoked function expression. So you don't have to memorize what that means, but that's what it means. So what the heck is an IIFE? So it's going to go ahead and think about it, and then it'll produce a new modal window based on this, and it'll just randomly put in some fields. So to kind of go through this real quick, it's going to automatically show modal on load. So it's going to initiate itself and show the modal when you load it. I want a console logging in case there's any troubles that pop up and I need to troubleshoot it. You want to make sure that it's adding console logs into it. So we want to stylize it so it's not just plain and boring. Demonstrate usage of text fields, drop downs, radio buttons. So we want to just kind of have it demonstrate how to add all these input fields and stuff for us. Submit button that logs the form data, and close button. And then we only need the JavaScript because it's going to want to try to create HTML or whatever. It's going to do its own thing, but we want to enforce that it's creating an IIFE function. So a modal window show up on load, parent window is mostly visible but dimmed out. So just kind of explaining what we want. And you can modify this however you want to be more descriptive of what exactly it is you want. So here it's created that function. So you can see it's no function, there's no function name, there's no function parameter, but it's starting the exact same way that I was showing you before with the PDF function. It's adding styles directly into the HTML. So it's going to inject HTML, and it even uses the word inject. So, and then it's going to append. So it's going to add that to the head. And so that's that part, show modal. So it's doing all this work for us. So I didn't have to do anything here. The trick here is this right here. This is what's going to catch people up. You want to delete these characters. In the world of JavaScript and coding, this is what causes it to immediately start after you load it. But with FileMaker WebViewers, this actually messes it up. It'll self-invoke right away because we're using that perform JavaScript and WebViewer script step. So you don't need that. It's trying to do it multiple times or something. You remove that and this function will work. So I'm going to copy this, whatever it is, and I'm just going to duplicate this. You can see I did this many times when I was testing. So you paste that in there, get rid of this right here. That's the secret. So I'm going to save. Let's also disable that. So now it's going to do this new JS function that we just did. So I'm going to run this, and we'll see this work in real time here. I haven't seen this. This is going to be the first time for me. I think it might have messed up. And this is the importance of having your logs. So it tried to just initialize modal script. So I'm not sure what happened there. I'm going to try resetting and we'll run that again. Of course. So it is trying to run, but ChatGPT messed up somewhere. So I'm going to try another idea, and that is we'll do this exact same experiment. And I'm just going to copy this, and we'll go over to Grok and see if it does better. And it's already started. It did much faster. So hopefully we have better luck. It's not the first time I've had trouble with ChatGPT with this. So it's adding a lot of objects, and then again it added this at the end. So I'm going to copy this, come over here. I'm going to reset the web viewer for testing purposes, and I'm just going to replace all of that with this new JavaScript. Save. And of course, it's failing. See if it did
Well,
better.
you know.
Yeah, now I'm actually getting an error. Unable to find variable JavaScript. So yeah, I wish I wasn't having so much trouble. Normally, I don't have any trouble. So you can tell it what the error was, and it'll be like, okay, suggester might be an issue with the JavaScript code, possible causes, et cetera, et cetera. And then it's going to try to fix it. So hopefully this time it works. So it's going to try to create the IIFE and cross our fingers it works this time. Let's see, it's perform script. So it could be that it doesn't have this function that's causing the problem. Okay. So again, I'm getting rid of that stuff at the end. Save. Oh, come on. It's not even trying now. That's weird. Attempting to set web viewer content. Well, anyhow, that's kind of how you do it, and I don't know why I'm having so much trouble.
It's
Because
knows
it's
you're doing a
live.
live demo. Yeah, moment, you know. Scott says he doesn't think that you deleted the end characters. You want to double check that?
So I'm going to let it do some work, and hopefully it can create a chart for us to show. So at the very end, I did remove that. It's using an if. Attempting. Okay, so there it's attempting. It did log that. Else object is not running in. Huh. So it did add these logs in there. If window FileMaker. So it's checking to see if the FileMaker function exists before it adds it. Maybe removed semicolon at the end. Yeah, it's JavaScript's really picky about its semicolons. Let's see if it did better this time. So kind of a simpler one. So I'm gonna move that for a moment. And then WebViewer web function JS. Of course. It's always when you're trying to do a live demonstration of how easy it is, everything doesn't work. Okay. So I did actually have it do these, and these work. And you can see I got rid of the this stuff that was at the end. So this stuff at the end, you remove that, and it should work. So if I enable that and run it, it works.
There we go.
So yay. So one thing you could try, and I'll try this real quick. Here is a working template. And you use this to create a demo of a chart for us. So you can talk to it, you can give it some examples of something that does work. And then it's going to wrap itself inside of an IFE, display a modal window. So it's kind of explaining what it's going to try to do. And it's interesting. Sample health insurance data, bar chart. Okay. It's interesting. So now we have this copy. Okay. Let's try this one last try here. Hopefully this works. So I'm just going to paste this in here, get rid of that stuff at the end. Say, okay, save. There it is. So if you give it a working example and then tell it to create something, it can do it.
And you won't have to go through all that pain and agony. Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
There's
Legitimately.
lots of working examples in this file. Give it one of those. You'll have more success.
Cool.
So
Yeah, no, this is awesome. And I've shared the file to everyone. People are typing.
yep. Trying to see. Thanks, Scott. He says it's fantastic.
Yes,
So,
which is very true. So
yeah, there's so much here to play around with. I really hope everybody enjoys this. I am working on a version 2.
of course you are. You wouldn't be Kyle if you didn't have a version 2 in the works.
So version 2. So yeah, version 2 is something I'm still working on, but I'm adding a JSON converter here that can convert any JSON into FileMaker JSON or FileMaker formula.
That's really
And
nice.
paste it to the clipboard real easy. Evaluate. So if you have a random formula somewhere, you just paste it in there, evaluate it. So
Cool. Okay. Awesome. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to you coming back to talk about version 2.
yeah, version 2, it shows you if you have broken JSON, it'll give you a warning, but it'll still convert it anyway. So that's something to look forward to. I'm still working on this, but just kind of a preview of something I'm in the works of. So it did create this formula for me. I can evaluate it. It works, even though the JSON I was feeding was broken. So lots to look forward to.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, with that being said, I think I'll wrap us up unless I got anything else that we're supposed to be doing. Cool. Thank you very much, Kyle. This is always fantastic. Having you on is always fantastic. Seriously, if you are in need of a FileMaker developer, feel free to reach out to Kyle at his. I think the email is at the bottom of his sample file, so you can take a look at his work and email him directly.
my email, in case you don't have the file, is kylew.fmdev@gmail.com. So it's
Yes.
Kyle W as in Kyle Williams, FileMaker Dev at gmail.com. So
Yes. Thank you very much, everyone, for coming, and I will catch you on Monday. Bye-bye.